Look at those faces, those canvases. It is ready. The stage is set. I cannot wait, boys.
All right, Strider, we're going to let you go and get something to eat because clearly you're hungry. There's been a lot of talk about getting a bite of something for the last half hour. But made a great job today out there in the channel, and we'll definitely be hearing from you when we get competition back underway in the coming days before we start crowning some champions.
Great family, great friendships over the years, and to watch it go full circle and now be here commentating a good friend's child is just a fantastic thing. Kolohe up and riding.
Yeah, with some speed. Great backhand that Andino possesses. Beautiful float to get started. And he's collected some big numbers on the backhand out here before. So not afraid to look left. And really working this one over as that foam covers the face. It's no problem for Kolohe, really driving through those turns beautifully.
Bread and butter, you see, pumping, driving, floats out of the lip. Nice little transition move. And here it doesn't stand up, so he cuts back into the bowl to give himself that chance. And there are those strange little edges on the left, just as there are on the right. And he gets to drive back, as you said, Ronnie. Has a look over his shoulder. Fair starter. And after the break, you've been in your wetsuit a long time. There is that, you know, the afternoon's starting to come on, so things are starting to get a little bit colder, and that'll be a good warm-up and get you going. And this turn here, beautiful snap out of the top on that ledgy little inside section just before the surgeon's table as you make the way through to the inside on the left.
Yeah, so busy on this ride, wanting to really milk all the points out of this one. I think it's fair to say he milked it dry. Still looking for that elusive breakthrough victory as he again gets to his feet. This time looking right, drives up into the section, brings it down. A little more critical on that second turn, drifting those fins. Great control, love the approach there, drawing out the big slice and bringing it through to the inside for a nice finish before the reef makes itself apparent on the inside.
I think the right was better, and here we go. Watch the replay. Little pump down the face, straight up into the lip, out of it pretty quick too, and then it stands up in front of him. He just flares that tail, wafts the tail into another wrapping turn off that section here. The reef is starting to gurgle beneath him. Gets that one last little turn and pulls through the white water so that he doesn't lose those fins. There's the first, and definitely a better ride there, I think, as you do, Ronnie. Look at that beautiful turn. That was the money turn, and that's definitely going higher than the first left. Carving arc, beautiful style, great technique. It's been at it a long, long time. And I remember telling Kolohe when we worked together, I go, hey, mate, you don't need me to tell you what to do. It seems like the ocean has settled into that evening glass, and Seth Moniz has decided it's time to go.
Well, let's see what he can do. 21 years of age. His rookie campaign on the championship tour. Lays back on that first turn. Winds through a nice carve. Cuts that rebound short to keep some momentum for this final section. And throws his board up into it. Nice and shallow there. He does his best to show the judges that he's got control, that he completes that ride.
Got to consider what's happened to the point of it, the incompletion, and surfing's an overall performance. Let's look at this replay. Love that first turn and the commitment in it. The wave wasn't so clean and predictable, but what he has done with it is amazing. And we talked about a great start for Kolohe. This is a great start and full of confidence and full of comfort for Seth Moniz, especially after the breaks and all of that stuff, which he may not have been through this type of an experience ever before, what he's just gone through. So to come out, sit on that priority for 8 minutes, near on, 8 minutes, and then decide to pull the trigger and surf it like that, great signs for both of these guys. Where Kolohe's felt a little more sort of connected and together. Here he goes again.
Andino drawing off the bottom. Whips that board through that first section. You can see it's smoothed out, but the bumps are still there under that smooth surface. And Kolohe dealing with them pretty nicely on that ride. I think we touched on it prior to this heat getting underway. There's a difference between these two. Kolohe's just a little more refined in his approach and getting the jump on the exchange to begin with.
And in that first turn, it's almost like he pushed a little too hard. There was it didn't sort of squirt out of that first turn and come out with speed. It felt, in first impressions, it felt like you watch it here. This part, see how much rail is in that water, and there's and it's a powerful gouging turn. But see, that little moment of getting stuck up there, I just don't know that this wave is going to improve on that 5, 6, 7. And if you're Seth and you get back out the back and you've got the priority, to absolute commitment on that inside there though. And two nice big turns. It's going to be interesting to see where this one comes in. Perhaps the left might not have had stuff of such consequence. Seth a little uncomfortable there on the takeoff.
He just hit a bumper and kind of got forced deeper. As a result, couldn't get back out in front of that wave. So there's a missed opportunity.
He's getting, Kolohe's used priority. He might have played his cards right, because behind it, it looks like there's something really good. Kolohe on a bumpy one in front.
Just gets a little call through that first turn. Might try and recover with something big here. Loading up. Throws the tail and stays on his feet. Likes the feeling of getting a big finishing turn there. We'll see it again.
You see Seth was paddling there to ensure that he used his priority. He snaps out of the top. There's all that bump and lump and he gets caught for that minute. Now there's a lot of horizontal travelling to try and get to this last turn. The last turn is beautiful. Nothing else before it. I can't see that improving on the two-wave total. It was a lovely turn, but it needed to be more before that. Look at that turn on the slow-mo. Great control and composure. He's just drifted through the air on the lip, and it was a beautiful turn. And Seth's got priority, but he's going to use it right now.
Yeah, again, just fading off the takeoff to set up this first section. Nice whipping turn. One of the cleaner first turn options that we've seen. Now moving through to the inside, needs to finish this one off with something big, but this wave is just going to completely draw out off the reef, and he's not going to get that opportunity to hit that end section.
And he knew that one more big one, he'd have something of consequence. You see him drive off the bottom into a beautiful snap, and this turn here comes off the bottom cleanly, and then there's that little moment of catch there, and he fights it and gets it going, and he knows he needs one more good turn to kind of get it into that realm of scoring potential, but it didn't quite get there because of that inside reef just went dry on him.
This was a beautiful turn into the afternoon light, sending the spray skyward. And when you get to the end of this ride in the slow-mo, you'll see that Seth, after this turn, knows that he needs something big, because this section flattened out, and he starts looking straight at the reef, then looking at the section, wondering if it's worth risking at all.
There's that look to the reef. He just goes, nope. And rightly so. That was, you couldn't have done anything with that one. Kolohe's gone to the 607 on that one, which was, there was the two-turner that was the one before it for the 6. That one was sort of a 1.5 turner in my eyes, but the volume of the second one must have been what the judges liked. Look at this wave.
This is a beautiful looking wall, and Andino doesn't waste the first section this time, really lays it over. Nice in transition, keeping a good flow at the moment. Looking for a big finish, loading up, hits the section and stomps it.
The volume of the second turn, as I said, as we watch this replay. Drives, you see, drops that other arm back, tries to add some variety to the turn. Works so well into that cutback, and it's a little slower in here, but he knows that if he keeps working, keeps building momentum into that last turn, it could be something big.
Not complacent in transition though, was he? He kept the board moving, kept pushing on the rails.
You see here, he goes into a traditional style turn and then just drops that back arm back to give it some variety. You see John and others use that style of turn to great effect. It gives you a good point to pivot off.
That's a bit more convincing. Should get out of the 6s. Seth Moniz up as well. He finds a bigger wall to work with. And he'll get that final turn on this one.
Great exchange.
You can hear the crowd erupting here. Seth just narrowly bypasses the rock shelf on the inside, making his way to the water patrol.
Variety that the judges like to see. There's some variety from Seth of his own, holding the rail as he drove down straight into that next bottom turn, into the last one. There was certainly some excitement and some drama on that wave from Seth. Drops that arm back, drives the rail. There's kind of like a little loss of control of the rail there, and then drives it back down. And look how low he is, compressing out of the bottom into that next turn. It will be interesting to see the effect of some of those kind of moments of loss of rail and control in the rail, and how the judges, how they assess that in their appraisal of this performance. But there was certainly that type of on-edge drama that the judges love.
The Oi Rio Pro, it kicks off on June 20th. Top 5 on the championship tour. But Lynch is going to be there and pretty excited looking at those highlights. The Waves were firing last year.
Well, I'm excited for Seth too. He's got this little runner on the inside, 2 nice clean turns into a closeout turn. That might have been the most composed and controlled he's looked on a wave.
These bends, and he's let go of some pretty decent turns on this one. Just slowing things down a little bit, just looking a little bit more comfortable now.
Yeah, settled in. Beautiful control. 3 lovely turns for the 617. And this one's tight. You look at the 7-4 to the 717. You look at the 6-5 to the 617. And there's just that tiny edge so far. And if I was set and I'd sort of banked these, the 7-1, the 6-1, I think I'd be going to the air. Knowing who I've got, knowing what Kolohe's strengths are, knowing that he hasn't used those strengths yet. As we see Seth climbing and clawing his way up onto the rock shelf to make his way. Those ones get you.
If he could just reel it back a hair, he'd get really big scores.
Don't you feel, though, that he did reel it in and didn't get rewarded?
No, no, I don't. I feel like he's been, going after it, and I feel like he will get rewarded as soon as he actually does some surfing where he's, going really fast and still staying on the rail.
But that might have been the wave too. It didn't seem to stand. The first parts were just wraps, weren't they? Here he goes. We'll soon see. Up and riding strides.
Driving into it. Nice turn there. Oh, a little wobble off the bottom. And it's kind of another, I guess, example of exactly what Strider was touching on. And that was, he looks like the wheels are about to pop off, and they did in the bottom turn after that first turn.
If you can find that sort of maturity in it, the youthfulness is beautiful. Here we go. Drives off and see that little skip of the rail. That was exactly kind of where Strider. And then this one where you lose concentration, you think you're safe, and you fall into the lip and it sucks you over the falls onto that very shallow rock shelf. And he went to the air on that last one. He figured he'd done all the work on the rail and he needed to try something different. He went to the air. He didn't succeed, but he's using his priority now with 3 minutes left. Seth's going to have the priority. Will he build? Will he improve on his existing score? Because if he doesn't improve on that 6.5, then you can consider this wave a mistake.
Well, Andino does get the finish there on the inside, and I think he just has in the back of his mind, when you get to this stage of a heat and you've got the lead.
But I don't feel like there was anything in it that really kind of had me going above what we've already seen in the heat. Let's have a look. He drives off the bottom into that lip. Nice first turn. Nice re-entry here. Let's see it front on. And has that little hang up there in the top, and then this part goes a little flat. There's some ribs and bump, and it's hard to ride. He hits the white water nice as well. So good work, well managed, making the most of it. But whether it's better or not, only time will tell. Let's have a little look-see on the judges' scores. What do you think, Blakey? I feel like I'd almost rather have had priority still with 1:14.
Such a gamble. I mean, Kolohe has surfed this wave to a 6, and he didn't get the second or third turn right, but it was so close. You've got to keep in mind that Seth only needs a 6.74, and he's got the kind of turns, individual turns, that can fetch big numbers.
Well, Kolohe hangs on for another win.
Yeah,
Margaret River continues to be nice to him, and he understands this break. He's got a great relationship with this break.
Both surfers rode a lot of waves. Sorry there, Button.
You're right.
And he did just enough, Andino, to hold on to that lead. And it was a smart decision in the end to go that final ride, because that would have been Seth's last real opportunity. And we know, in desperate circumstances, kids like him are capable of just about anything.